Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
How did you pull from your experiences into this role, the mental health aspect, to the tapping into the grief and the depression? How did you pull into that?
Uh, okay. Ask that question again because are you talking about the sports background or are we talking about how I pulled into the mental health aspect of
Yeah,
it?
how did you tie that in from having your sports background to playing someone who was a former NBA player and dealing with grief and that and in that aspect in the mental health aspect?
Well, being a former athlete and a current coach, it was pretty easy for me to get into Tony's skin. I know what it's like to have had retired from a sport. I know what it's like to start a coaching journey. So it was pretty easy for me there because I have all those experiences in my database.
Right.
So I just really had to just be myself in a lot of respects when it came to that part of it. But the mental health part of it was a little bit more tricky, and the alcoholism part of it was a little bit more tricky. Um, I've gone through traumatic experiences in my life, and at the time of shooting, I was going through some personal issues myself, so it was easy to draw some of the darkness and some of the emotion that I was going to use for Tony from my own life at the time, and it was pretty cathartic because it allowed me to get a lot of my stuff out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't ever really struggled with mental health, but depression and sadness and grief. I have dealt with those things. So, not clinical depression, but I
Mm-hmm.
think, just if I was to guess what some of the things that I had gone
Yeah.
through in my life, I'm pretty sure somebody would have told me that I may have been dealing with depression. Um, so that part of it, unfortunately in real life, but fortunately for the art,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I had some ammunition to work with.
And that's, I mean, and I know it's kind of when usually when people are going through grief or dealing with stuff, it's a good outlet to have. And I think that's good when you said it was cathartic for you to experience and get a lot of that out. So my next thing is how do you find balance within the entertainment industry? Because I followed your career for a long time. There are a couple roles I still got. I mean, I'm still mad at you, but not really mad at you. But you played the
Not
role
mad
so
at me. You're mad at the characters. You're not mad at me. And if you're mad at
right.
me, that just means I did a good job. So thank
You
you.
did do a great job. I mean, I laugh because it's like you played the roles so well. And I'm just like, how does he do it? And every single role is, different. It just it's different. It's you, but it's you make it different. Because some actors it's the same, but no, you actually they're distinct characters to me. So,
Yeah.
and I commend you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. The, a lot of people will tell you I'm a fairly complex person. So I have and I have a wide array of experience in life, from school to baseball to now acting to music to being a dad, all kinds of things to draw from. So when I have a character like a Tony, I draw from a certain part of my life. When I have a uh, character like a Michael Rowland
Yes.
from Till Death Do Us Part,
Yes.
I draw from a different part of my life. The same with Marcus from One Night Stay. These are all different characters that live and have evolved within me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's like, kind of like being an athlete. You got guys on the bench that you call, hey, Marcus, come on, you're in the game. So, you know, I think that a lot of being an actor is drawing from life experience. And if you are fortunate enough to have a lot of life experience, you've got a wide variety of things to pull from when you need to.
Well, I would say that it's amazing to see, but you said you mentioned music. Can you tell me more about that real quick?
Yeah, I was in the hip hop industry for quite a long time. I mean, people know they saw me on Sway in the morning. I told Sway I was a ghostwriter. I actually freestyled on Sway.
I'm
So
look at that.
if you guys want to check that out, go, Stephen Bishop freestyles on Sway in the morning. But for a long time, I worked with one of my best friends, my brother Kevin Wales. He is a music producer and production company owner for many, many years, a manager. He discovered and managed 112, signed them to Bad Boy. He created ABC. He's been in the music business for a long time, and I worked with him doing some A&R for him and doing some writing for some of his artists. And that's how I got in. And then all of a sudden, people started getting wind that I could, my pen game was strong. So I got a lot of work as a ghostwriter before acting really started happening. Ghostwriting actually paid my bills for quite a few years before acting started to do so. So yeah, no, music has always been a part of my soul. It still is. I still write. I still, am very
Okay.
involved. So, see, you
Okay.
learned something new today, right?
I did. Because it's like amazing because music is a universal language. So it's like any type of music, any form, I'm excited to hear or learn, something new because everyone has some kind of tie to music sometimes. So I like that. So my next question is Raven, I have to say her full name, Raven, the director, right? She's only been in the industry for a short amount of time, but
Yeah.
she's put out a body of work. Like how, because in my interview with her, she said that her and her husband said that you were Tony. Like they looked at you and they knew that. How did that connection happen?
Well, they were watching Terminal List, a show that I am in with Chris Pratt, and they both at the same time. I guess they had been looking for Tony for a while. They couldn't quite put their finger on who they wanted for him because they had to have, from what I remember Raven saying, he had to have a lot of nuance because
Right.
there's levels to Tony, and they were watching Terminal List, and both at the same time had the thought, oh, that's Tony. And Raven said that she thought it, and right before she said it, her husband said it to her. That's the perfect Tony. So they reached out to my team, and the team reached out to me and told me a little bit about it. And I said I liked the idea. I wanted to read the script, so I read it, and I said this is a great role. The arc here is tremendous. There is a lot of depth, and there are a lot of different parts and sides to Tony that you see in this film. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to spread my wings a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
show myself as well as the viewers what kind of chops I really have. I've spent a lot of my career being a love interest,
Mm-hmm.
and for a while now, I've been wanting to add to that part of my resume by just playing characters that were their own character. They weren't at the whim of a relationship, or
Right.
weren't constantly in jeopardy by a fear of a breakup or something going wrong with
Right.
the relationship. I just wanted to play a standalone character that just was his own man and got to live his own experience. And Finding Tony gave me that opportunity.
I just hearing her say that and then connecting with you that made me smile because like yeah because I could just reading the synopsis I was like yeah that's a really great that's the perfect actor they chose correctly. So you said that you coach as well.
Yeah, I
What
coached
sport do you?
baseball. Baseball. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I was a pro baseball player, so
I know Finland.
it's only logical that I would go into coaching. Uh, and again, this is part of the complexity of me. I'm not deep into the industry as a lot of people are. I kind of don't involve myself much with the industry. I do
Hmm.
my work, and then I have a real life outside of it, which keeps me grounded. I have a beautiful daughter named Charlie and a very handsome son named Caden, who is a baseball player, and I coach a summer team, which is the SoCal Cubs. It's a scout team for the Chicago Cubs organization, and Caden plays on that team. So in the summer and the fall, I coach baseball around acting because sometimes I have to go away to work, but when I'm not working, I'm coaching, and I play a lot of golf.
Oh, see, that's I just started. Next Sunday I'll be starting playing golf again, and I'm like excited because I was upset as a kid having to caddy. I had to caddy for my dad, so I'm glad now that I'm older. I'm like, oh, okay, now I get why he played so much because it's peaceful. Like it's
Yeah,
just.
yeah. It's very peaceful, but at the same time, it's very challenging.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of problem solving involved. I mean, it's not a game that you just hit it and go find it and hit
No.
it again. No, there's because nobody can hit it straight every time. So there's going to be challenges where you're going to have to be artistic and shape the ball around a
Right.
tree, or there's lots of things. So but a lot of business is done on the golf course.
Very much
Uh,
so.
it's a great sport. It's very, very challenging. It's impossible to master, but the attempt to master it is very rewarding.
Yeah, I get it now. Like I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but I get it now because I like you get into your own head and you problem solve. But I get a lot of thinking done, like a lot of solutions to things that I could not figure out. I get there, so I like that a lot. So my final question is, like, so what do you want viewers to pull from leave when they leave the premiere or leave from watching the movie? What do you want them to carry from it?
I really like this redemption story. Um, Tony is as down can be when
Mm-hmm.
we first see him, and through the help of friends and finding a purpose for himself, he redeems himself and he comes full circle. It's a great story about perseverance and mentorship. It shows somebody battling with mental health and substance abuse and being honest about that in the film. Tony is very aware of at first he's in some denial, but then he realizes that people are on to him, and it's time for him to be honest with them, as he knows he's been honest with himself. I mean, he's been in this for some years, so he's very aware of where he is, and he's very aware of where he came from
Right.
before he became this guy. So he's in a kind of a emotional tug of war with who he used to be and who he currently is, and then who he could be comes into play. So I just want people to take that, the story's never over until it's over. There's always a chance to start again. There's always a chance to redeem yourself. Everybody's going to go through adversity. It's not the fall, it's how you get up that counts. Okay.
Got it. So I do have one final thing. It's National Stress Awareness Month. My question is, how do you handle stress? What do you do?
I'm a very introverted person, so I just sit still. I sit still and I allow myself to feel it, and I allow my intellect to think my emotion through it. And I just try not to make any decisions until I'm the type of person that if we have a conversation, let's say we have an argument, I'm going to come back probably the next day and say something to you about it, because I like to go and think about it. I don't
Right.
really like to make rash decisions in the moment based off of emotion. I like to sit and let my intellect take over. Uh, so when I'm dealing with stress, I just sit still, I think through it, I think about my options, and I try to make the most intelligent and informed decision.
That's the best way. That is one of the best ways to do it. And everyone's like, because it's sitting quiet allows you to, remove any kind of harsh feelings or any kind of clouded judgment. So yes, that is a great way to look at it. So I want to thank you for talking to me today. I don't want to hold you long.
Let
But
me say one more thing about that. It may not happen right away. Sometimes you got to sit still for a couple days.
yes,
It's not just sitting still for 10, 15 minutes.
and
Sometimes when you're dealing with something pretty heavy, you got to sit still for a while and just detach from everything else and be in your own space and let God talk to you and let your brain work. And so, don't rush to get through
yes,
whatever it is you're going through.
because that and another thing, when people start with that, they sit and get quiet. It's like and another thing that just starts all over again. So it's like, yes, sit and really sit in it, because that and another thing will get you in a whole lot more trouble. So I want to thank you again for talking to me today. I can't wait to fully watch the movie. The trailer, I'm just excited because I love your body of work, and I know that you did this role. You played this role, so I'm excited, and I can't wait to see it. And thank you again for talking to me today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you for your kind words. If you go to my Instagram page
Mhm.
and you click on the link in my bio, you can pre-order Finding Tony. And if you do that, you'll be entered into a drawing to win $1,000 that I'm giving away out of my own pocket.
We just can skip the drawing. Okay. Okay, I
So
will definitely do that.
go pre-order Finding Tony and enjoy it. And hey, you never know, you might walk away a little richer.
See now that's a good. So I'm gonna get this out. I have to tell people about it too. Not necessarily I want to now, but I'm gonna tell people just pre-order it. But yes,
Yeah.
most
Well, I don't know if
definitely.
you're allowed to win or not, but I just wanted to put it out there for you. I mean, we're not friends or family, so I
I
don't
don't
have
know
a
you.
problem. I don't know you. I don't be listening to you. I don't even know you.
Right. So okay, so that's it's really easy too. It's really easy to log on and pre-purchase it. Now I have to do it now.
Yeah, just
So
click the link in my bio, but it's got to be the link in my bio because this is my friends, my family, my followers, my fans. The link in my bio on Instagram is the one where you're entered into this drawing. Okay.
I see. So yes, I'm going to share that as well. The link that's in your bio and also in the comment section of the interview and also the write-up and stuff. So most definitely. But that is awesome. I'm excited. So now I'm create my account. So I'm gonna do that after I get off.
All
So
right.
thank you so much again. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You too. I appreciate you having me. Talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon.